Good morning, everyone, and a big thank you, first of all, for staying in the room while lunch is being served outside. So everyone who's leaving now, I know, is more hungry than eager to listen to me. So, but please stay, because I'm not going to deliver another marketing pitch for our new friend AI. I really want to talk about the disruption, the profound disruption we as procurement, finance, and supply chain professionals face, and how we address it. The disruption has never been more significant and faster than it is today. And if we believe sort of the latest research and what we've heard of the last 1.5 days, the AI that we use today is like the internet in the late 90s versus the mobile 5G internet we use today when we look back 3 to 5 years from now. So it's massive. We as procurement professionals, I think, have two types of disruptions we need to address. First of all, there's our bread and butter business. Our businesses, our corporates that we serve, face tariffs, geopolitical, supply chain disruptions, cost margin pressure is back, massive. That's where we play. That's what we must do. But there's much more. There's change that I think we want to address to shape our own future, and even more, to secure our own future. And that, to me, means great times. We are in demand. People need procurement. And there is stuff out there we can leverage, technology, AI, other things, that will actually help us to address. However, yes, there is a big but. We have a choice that we need to make. If we just continue doing good procurement, if we just continue focusing on sourcing, category management, maybe use some of the tools out there and sort of optimize what we are and what we do, I don't think we'll have a bright future. Externalization of procurement, I think, is accelerating. BPOs use technology to offer cheaper and cheaper opportunities to do the work that we do, the core work, the process-driven work. Business functions who may be more advanced in their AI capabilities or use partners threaten us to take elements back, decentralization. Or ultimately, a GBS or IT function who is heavily investing in AI includes procurement in their business case. So the only choice I think we have is to reimagine, to truly rethink procurement, and stop thinking procurement for procurement, start thinking business first. How can they deliver not only the savings, but also value that they really care? How do I use technology to my advantage? How do I become finally excellent and efficient at the core to then reinvest that efficiency gain into many other services, many other capabilities to become a different function? And that's the choice we need to make. And we don't have much time. And I think we should choose the rethink or reimagine. And I'll try to outline what this means and what you can do. So for me, there are sort of 5 levers we can pull. And I think there's also a bit of a sequence here. So it starts for me with excellence and automation, focusing on core procurement, delighting the business, making it faster, making it easier, and ultimately drive efficiencies. This is where you deliver the credibility and the trust for the business to say, yeah, procurement can do more because they've got their house in order. But this is also where you can use a lot of the digital assets that have been around for a little bit longer to drive efficiencies, to create room for you to reinvest. And then invest it wisely. Certainly give maybe some money back to say I've become cheaper and better, no question, but then reinvest. And reinvest in what I suggest, partnering, collaborating with the business, certain talent, but then also in capabilities that matter to the business. Yeah, easy stuff, risk and sustainability, we've talked about for many years. I'll talk about a few more in a bit, sort of solutions, value realization, but it's critical that we take the business perspective and that we invest in capabilities that matter and not just become a cheaper, more efficient procurement function that pumps out savings. The third thing, which I think is critical and is becoming more and more critical, is that we change the way we work. We need to become more agile and flexible because the world around us is demanding that. We have to deliver against multiple expectations, certainly financial impact. We also need to protect our companies, compliance, risk, and the business is expecting us to do more than just savings. So how do we flex ourselves across these three value types that are in high demand? How do we then leverage digital and AI to accelerate and multiply what we do? And very, very important is the people we work with, our staff. And here, I think we need to not just focus on training. We need to focus on engaging them on this journey. They need to be part of this. They need to want it, because they can be the greatest disruption if they don't like or use the technology you bring, or if they don't understand or don't adopt it. So engaging them, training, upskilling them, and getting them ready for this hybrid workforce that's to come. And hybrid in terms of human intelligence, AI, but also different locations, different operating models, engage them in this journey. For me, everything starts with excellence, and that's super, super critical, because here you build the foundation for success in other areas. And I think for years we've tried to be excellent in procurement, more training, more investment in different people and talent. But I think the one thing we missed is sort of get the focus right. And I think we need to be very simple in how we drive excellence. And to me, this is a different approach to procurement. This one-size-fits-all, category management, largely everywhere, then sourcing, end, it's not going to work. And especially now that we have technology and different vehicles to drive success, we have to capitalize on it. So very quickly, I think we should pursue three approaches. First, for tail. So many high-frequent, low-value purchases. We need to deliver an amazing user experience, fully automated, at hardly any cost to procurement. Learn from what's going on in the tail and rechannel transactions into volume or strategic. If you see stuff showing up in the tail that we buy over and over again from the same supplier or similar suppliers, let's move that volume, but learn from it. But the key here is, this is not where your people should be involved. This is where automation should drive success at lowest cost. The opposite, what we call the strategic demand, that's where you should invest the best and the brightest and enable them with some decision support, analytics, insights, but ultimately, here people matter. That's where the big spend is, but the fewer transaction and the few suppliers. The middle bit is the most exciting. That's where you make it or break it, in my opinion. And here, business self-service, enabling sort of high-frequent, high-volume, high-spend orders quickly is critical. So buy against content, buy against available contracts, preferred suppliers is key. And here, I know some may not like it. My opinion is the best sourcing is no sourcing. If you can deliver a procurement outcome, a competitive price through a marketplace or other means, you save so much processing cost, you save the pain for the business to wait 6, 8, 12 weeks for an outcome, you save the pain for the supplier, and you can reinvest that time and that credibility in something else. So that different approach, one size fits all is dead, in my opinion. Really tailor and think about smartly how you address your volume of work and cluster it wisely. What this enables you to do is to reinvest that capacity and capability you freed up. You will have created a lot of credibility in the business. They actually feel you've got this under control. You can actually get a PO out, or you can help me within hours rather than days or weeks. And you will have access to key decision makers. And you need to leverage this to then invest in new areas. And I'm going to call out a few, which to me are super critical. So business partnering. For years, we have partnered with the business. But who did partner with the business? Our amazing sourcing and category managers who were incentivized to drive cost out, who were trained for years in procurement. So often, the business dialogue was very much skewed towards procurement outcomes. I think we need to invest in different business partnering capability, dedicated, who truly translate procurement into business talk and get business needs translated properly into how we operate in procurement. Another very important, I guess, mindset change is how we use data. 3-4 years ago here, data and insights was a big topic. Fantastic, absolutely love it. But I think the step we haven't made as procurement, we can pump out more reports and dashboards now faster and look beautiful and amazing. Some even actually deliver the insights, great. But the business is looking for more. When I speak to our divisional CEOs, they look for transparency and they look for decision support in this ever faster world where decisions become so critical and time critical. We, with our data and the insights we can deliver, are in high demand. But if we just pump out dashboards, pump out reports, and some insights, not helpful. So true decision support. The most exciting area for me is what we brand solutions. Procurement thinks and often does have one response. We are one-dimensional. Our process is linear. And I think that's wrong. We always think connect demand to supply. But I think we need to think slightly differently. What's behind this demand? And why does the business have this problem? And can I solve this differently? And that's where we talk about solutions. So finding solutions to business problems. Leveraging our capabilities, leveraging our networks, our suppliers, whatsoever, internal partners, but solve the problem rather than just find a supply and negotiate. And I'll give you a good example. So in the lab supply or even MRO space, we've now created 3D printing capability that we make available in our marketplace. So the business can buy stock that's available, external supplier, and own 3D printed materials. Available immediately, can be customized. That's a great solution. But we're taking this further. We're now working with the business on creating supplementary materials for our products that we print. So we're actively now supporting growth and revenue with the capability and a solution we have created in procurement. And that's what I call a solution. Yes, we could source lab supplies, fantastic. We put lab supplies on a marketplace, great, excellence. And we're now going further, printing lab supplies and printing materials we sell with our products. That's the solution. Another piece, contracting. We love to talk about it. And we're good at negotiating contracts. We probably spend an enormous amount of time on including performance clauses in our contracts. Who has the resources in procurement, let alone the business, to actually drive control on these clauses or manage these clauses? So for me, this is dedicated or capacity, not necessarily people, capacity invested in value realization. sustainability, risk, compliance, other topics. So really think about, once you've achieved a level of automation and excellence, how do I turn this into greater value, rather than just giving money back or giving up headcount, because that's just a slow journey to an end. So what can I do with that capacity and that trust that I've created? Another piece I mentioned earlier is flexibility. And I think flexibility becomes more and more important and critical to what we do. Not only because the times are changing and the demand for our outcomes is flexing and changing, but also combining these different capabilities we talk about here. AI, digital assets, technology, partners, different capabilities in procurement. How do we bring this all together? If we continue to live our category managers, sourcing, operations, categories, matrix organization, I think that's not going to fly. So we need to think about more flexible or agile operating models. We need to think about how we really include automation, incorporate automation technology in what we do and how we work. We need to think about our talent, back to upskilling and training, and ultimately engaging. We need to establish partners that are willing to flex with us up and down, maybe outsource certain capabilities or use experts. And we need to express what we do in more than just we source and we deliver savings. So our sort of value proposition needs to change. And that allows us, I think, to flex not only how we work, but also what we deliver. Deliver our financial impact, bread and butter, clearly, very important. Do this differently, though, excellence. But also create value and protect the company. I think these things are becoming more and more important. But we need to figure out how we flex. AI, for me, a massive accelerator and multiplier. But again, remember, there's no one-size-fits-all AI, in my opinion. So when we talk about agentic AI, and I said this yesterday, I think you need to do this on some sort of platform. We can all sit here and wait for our big ERP providers to get up to speed and deliver us the platform for agentic AI. I think there are other solutions out there that may bridge that gap and give us the platform we need. But you need some sort of platform to scale agentic and really deliver the value. Contrary to this, there are many, many procurement-specific use cases you want to drive. Work with your partners, IT, work with some external partners, buy it as a service, something. But don't leave this untouched. I think there are ways to deliver this quickly and test and try. Build this on some foundation. Many companies have a ChatGPT version or Gemini version or something for everyday use to get people also equipped and exposed and excited about some of the AI. And invest in upskilling, engagement, communication, and remove that fear and anxiety what AI is and will be. So a multi-pillar strategy. I'll send you to lunch with a call for action. Time for change is now. If you haven't started, start now. Better yesterday, but now is still okay. And then really think about, how do I piece these various things together? And I hear a lot of sort of feedback in terms of, I don't have the budget, I can't do it, I don't have the decision power. In your little bubble or in your little piece that you have, try it out, do something. And also think about how you can bring different types of technology. Think about the 5 steps I mentioned. I think it's super critical to start, because if we don't start, if we don't change, someone will change us. And that change will not be, in my opinion, from our perspective, if we don't change it, if we don't shape it, to the better. So we have a great opportunity. Grab the opportunity, go drive it, do change. Even in your little small room scope to maneuver, do something. Otherwise, change is coming. That's my perspective.